Hello everyone, welcome back to the second Circle A Helltaker fan game. Let's go ahead and continue. On the following day, as you head into the kitchen to start the day with a fresh pot of coffee, you're surprised to find that you're not alone. Justice and Modius are already awake and are sitting at the kitchen table chatting. They stop as you walk in, grinning at your presence.
Good morning, sleepyhead. Feeling tired today, Chief?
What are you two talking about? 7 a.m.
Yeah? And? Everyone else is already up. You're the one who slept in this time.
You're kidding.
Afraid not.
What about Aunt Monica?
She dragged Zadrada to the store to restock the fridge and pantry.
Zadrada went?
She needed a new pot for a cactus.
I suppose that makes sense. And Aunt Monica does exert an unusual amount of control over Zadrada. What about her coffee though?
Modius gestures to the sink where the grinder lays among the dishes. Looks like she's taking a liking to that grinder you gave her. She was up early and made her own coffee with it.
Alright. Well, what about Cerberus?
Judgment took her out for a walk.
Melina?
Azazel and her went to Game Cafe for research purposes.
I suspect only Azazel will be doing research. You're probably right. Surely Lucy's still around.
Modius and Justice share a glance. Actually, we haven't seen her at all today. Yeah, I put my ear up to the door thinking I'd hear her snoring like usual, but nothing.
She's just gone? The demon shrug.
Don't know what to tell you, Chief.
Alright. And what about you two? Where are you up to?
Bookstore. My sources tell me that they're getting new shipment of books in Braille, so I thought I'd bring Justice along to see if anything struck her fancy.
I see. Well, have fun.
What'll you do, Taker?
Oh, don't worry about me. I got some plans to make.
Plans? Like what?
You'll see.
You'll wink in their direction.
Suddenly realizing what you mean, the demons blush.
Oh. Now that's my guy. We should be going though. Hope the planning goes well.
The demons bid farewell and held out the door, leaving you alone in the house for the first time in months. Left to your own devices, you can only hope that you're living up to Lucifer's expectations. Alright, first and foremost, my favorites. Justice. Let's go with you, baby girl. Even though it's just a trip to the hobby shop, you find yourself unusually nervous for your upcoming date with Justice. So nervous, in fact, that you end up taking much longer than usual to get ready. As you're comparing two seemingly identical red button-downs, you hear a knock at your door.
Yo! You ready yet, Chief?
Yeah. Not wanting to keep Justice any longer, you throw on one of the shirts and head out to meet the demon. Alright, let's go.
Lead the way then, my dude.
Keys in hand, you and Justice skip downstairs and load up into the car. The engine rumbles to life and soon you're on the road to the hobby shop. It isn't a terribly long trip, but nevertheless Justice is quick to fill the air with light conversation.
I gotta say, I'm eager to get a feel for the infamous Taker's old stomping grounds. When was the last time you visited a hobby shop?
Actually... That's a good question. I used to go to this place all the time. But... I stopped going.
Was it because of your little vacation in hell? The sorts of things you see down there. Well, they do have a tendency to change a person.
No, it wasn't that. Honestly, I stopped going to the hobby shop long before I met all of you.
Oh. What happened to make you quit?
It's, we're here. As if to save you from answering any uncomfortable questions, the hobby shop edges into view. Nestled in between a pair of old brick buildings, you feel a familiar nostalgic tug at the sight of this dilapidated shop. You pull into one of the many parking spots lined up out front. The sign out front lettering over the window reads, Helltaker. Havergelmir Hobby Shop. Okay. Oh boy, that's a mouthful. Ready?
Yeah, but before Justice can finish her sentence, you hop out of the car and straight up to the front door. The demon lets out an exasperated sigh before falling inside.
I'm sorry, Justice. Your arrival is heralded by the chime of a bell, and a familiar voice greets you as you are plunged into the shop's uniquely stale musk. Dear me. Is that really you, my boy? Oh, hey Gramps. Yeah, it's me. Why, I never thought I'd see you walk through those doors again. And yet here you are. Yeah, here I am. How I missed you, son. It's funny you should show up, though. Why's that? Just the other day, someone was asking about you. Asking about me? There's a lady. A couple of ladies, actually. At this, the man smirks and wiggles his eyebrows. We pretend not to notice. They saw the picture of you that I keep up here and want to know more about it. Proudly, the old man pats the wall behind him. It's labeled Wall of Fame, and below it there are silver pictures with tiny, homemade plaques under each. Amid the images, you spy your own photo, a little larger than the rest, near the dead center. Oh. I'm surprised you kept that. But of course I did. It's my pride and joy. Gramps.
So you're Tigger's grandfather, huh?
Oh, now who is this? A friend of yours, my boy? Not quite. Our relationship is burgeoning.
I mean, we are more than a bit beyond friendship, I'd say.
Justice lowers her glasses and looks at you over the jet black lenses.
Wouldn't you agree, Chief?
The forwardness of Justice's statement catches you off guard. Before you can find your bearings and reply, you hear a thunder of triumphant laughter come from the old man behind the counter. Now that's a fine young lady, I tell you what. In the midst of his joy, Gramps claps you on the back with such surprising force that you're nearly knocked off your feet. She's confident, earnest, and gorgeous to boot. You best treat her well, son. Yes. I plan to.
Good.
That's what I like to hear.
Boy, it's gotta be pretty convenient having a family member work for the hobby shop.
Ah, about that. Sadly, I'm not actually his grandfather. Thought I might as well be, given how much time you used to spend here.
But he calls you Gramps.
Everyone calls me Gramps around here. Anyway, what brings you guys here today? Don't tell me. Are you getting back into painting? As a matter of fact.
You bet he is.
Well, that's great to hear. Let me guess. I have you to thank for this new development, don't I, miss?
Nah, I just gave him a little nudge. The rest was all him.
Well, I must say, that warms my heart to hear. Now, what can I help you find today? I imagine since it's been so long, your paints have gone bad, haven't they? Right. Now that is a pickle. Full restock on paints will cost a pretty penny. I was afraid of that. And in any case, is the wall still there?
The wall?
That it is. I presume you know the way? How could I forget? I must admit, it's nice to see that this place hasn't changed much. Gramps grins and you nod before walking away. Just as quickly trails behind you. Nestled between the board games and the trading cards is a section dedicated to models and painting. Rows upon rows of box sets lay before you, a veritable cornucopia of tabletop figurines. And in the midst of it all lies the wall. The wall, a literal monolith, towers above you like a technicolor wave. To call a rainbow would be an insult to not only its magnificence, but also the sheer number of pigments it contains. For a while you find yourself awestruck, and perhaps a little overwhelmed by the sight. Even Justice, who stepped forward to inspect the wall with her fingertips, is utterly stricken by its size.
Holy cow. What kind of obelisk is this, Taker? I didn't know you humans could even see this many colors.
I'm almost certain that we can't. And yet, there's so many of them. Every pigment known to humankind.
And some known only to shrimp.
I don't even know where to begin. It's so overwhelming.
Whoa there, big guy. Don't zone out on me just yet.
There's so many colors.
Stay with me now. Let's think about this, yeah? Remember when we were talking about all of this the other day?
Yeah.
You went through the different paints with me then. And you mentioned a few of the staples that are used most often, right?
Right.
What were those?
Shades, metallics, and base coats.
Alright, good. Let's go from there then, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
You turn to scan the wall for requisite paints and find that your eyes are quickly drawn to the base coats first.
Here we go, base coats.
You step forward and begin to load up your hands with numerous tiny bottles. Okay, metallics next.
Yeah, here's some.
Grab some more paints, filling your arms. In your haste, some of them skip your grasp and clatter to the floor. Justice is quick to pick them up and sidles up next to you with her arms open. Here, just hand them to me. I'll hang on to them for you.
Thanks.
As you pluck paints off the wall, pass them over to Justice, who begins to ferry them over the counter for you. Before long, you have a nice little pile of paintballs ready for purchase. Alright, that's the last of the shades, right?
Yep.
What's next?
Well, now I need to think about what colors I'm going to use for the main body of my figures.
That's easy. What's your favorite color?
Red. But I think I want to try something different.
Ah, I see. Well, I could tell you my favorite color.
You have a favorite color?
Of course I do. I wasn't always blind, remember?
Right. So, what's your favorite color?
Yellow. It reminds me of the flower fields from when I was a little demon. I wasn't exactly supposed to visit them, but I also didn't exactly listen. There are flower fields in hell. Just one. And it's more of a meadow, really. Some mortals believe it's only filled with asphodels. But that isn't true at all. In reality, it's filled with all sorts of flowers, in rows and bunches of every color you can imagine, stretching from one horizon to next. I spent a lot of time in that place. Sure, it was no paradise. But when you're a kid in hell, it might as well be, you know? Anyway, I like the sunflowers the most. And though it's been 1,000 years or so, I can still picture their bright yellow petals.
I see. Yellow it is then.
You turn your attention back to the wall and begin to seek out the yellows. Justice, meanwhile, squeezes your arm affectionately before heading out to drop the last of the paints onto the counter.
Is that the last of it?
Though you're on the other side of the shop, thanks to the emptiness between you and the counter, you're privy to conversation between Justice and Gramps. Not quite, but almost.
I see. Good, good.
The old man nods in your direction.
It's nice to see him again.
Has it been that long?
A number of years at least.
What happened, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm afraid that's not entirely my story to tell. It's his.
I take it he hasn't told you much? No, he hasn't.
Give him time. If he hasn't told you yet, I'm sure he will someday. I can see that I trust you a great deal already. And for good reason, it seems.
What about that picture you have him up there? Can you tell me what that's for?
Ah, now that is a fun story. A bit of a long story, mind you. But from the looks of our friend over there, I'm sure you've got some time to kill.
I'm guessing you're right about that.
Now, where to begin? First things first, it's important to know that this is my shop. I've owned and run it since I was about his age. My own dad passed it down to me when I got old enough, and it's been my name ever since. There's not a lot of money in running a hobby shop, of course, but that's also not why I do it. Even so, I ran into some financial trouble a few years back. It's looking like I had to close up shop for good before long.
What happened?
That young man is what happened. When he caught wind of what was going on, he jumped in to help right away. He rallied up all the other regulars in the shop, a bunch of figurine painters like himself, convinced them to set up their workstations here in the shop. Then he printed off a bunch of flyers saying that people could come in and have their painting commissions done on the spot. And all the money would go to help his shop stay open so that these wonderful artists would have an easy way to get the supplies that they needed.
How many people showed up?
Frankly, miss, I lost count. All I know is that in a couple of weeks I had enough money to pay out the shop's debts and then some. It was remarkable. All those kind people worked so hard to keep me afloat, and I don't know if I'll ever repay them. But none of them worked quite so hard as that young man right there. He may not be the best artist there by a long shot, but he was right there with the rest of them, painting his heart out. Even after everyone else went home, he stayed behind, fulfilling commission after commission. Most folk come by just because they liked his determination. In any case, that's why his picture's up there on my wall. Him and all the others who saved my father's shop. My only regret is that the most I can offer them is a meager discount on painting supplies. It isn't much, but I hope it's enough.
Wow. I had no idea.
I'm not surprised.
That boy's not the one to brag, really. He's got a mind to accomplish what he sets out to accomplish, and that's that. Once he has a goal, he'll go to hell and back to make it happen. Don't I know it? Well, thanks for telling me all this, Gramps. I should probably go check on him, though. Make sure he hasn't gotten too transfixed by the wall. It'll get ya. A moment later, you feel Justice at your side again. She loops her arm around yours and brushes her fingertips against your skin. How's it going over there, Chief?
I think I'm ready.
Alright then. Shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
With Justice leaning affectionately against you, you make your way up to the counter. However, just before you arrive there, something catches your eye and you drag the procession to grinding halt. Whoa, what's with the sudden brakes? You don't reply right away, instead finding yourself so stunned into silence that you cannot muster the words. On the shelf before you sits an enormous set of figurines of all kinds. So elaborate that it would take you weeks just to put it together, twice that to paint it all. Without turning your eyes from the box, you reach into your pocket and withdraw all the cash that you brought along with you. What is it, Taker? It's... You do a little mental math in your head to see if the set fits into your budget. Too expensive. Your shoulders sag at the realization. You feel Justice step in front of you to lift the set off the shelf. Whoa, this thing is a beast. You sure we can't afford it?
Afraid not.
Rats. Even if you put backs on the paints? You look down at the yellow pigments in your hand. Sure, you could put some of them back and it would give you just enough to be able to buy a set. Then you wouldn't be able to fully paint a set of Sunflower Nights for Justice. Since it's thanks to her that you're even here at all, you can't help but feel you owe her at least that much. So you decide to hang on to the paints instead.
No, I'd rather hang on to the paints. I've got plenty at home to paint anyway. Maybe we can get it some other time.
Justice nods and heaves the box back onto the shelf. Without further ado, you approach the counter and prepare to pay. As Gramps is ringing up your things, you catch sight of your picture on the wall and are reminded of what the old man said earlier.
Hey Gramps, I was wondering if you could tell me a bit more about those people who came in and asked about my picture.
Well, sure, I suppose. What would you like to know?
What did they ask about?
Nothing out of the ordinary, just your name and about your time here.
Could you tell me anything specific about their questions?
Afraid not. My mind doesn't work quite like it used to.
Can you at least give me an idea of what they look like?
Now that I can do. They were really distinct if I recall.
Oh, but one of them, that is. How many were there?
3. One real tall lady just like one of them punk rockers. You know, stud bracelets, leather jacket, the works. The other looked like a back alley watch dealer. The third was unremarkable and yet oddly familiar. Oh, it sounds crazy, but she reminded me of both the young lady who bags my groceries and the person who works the bowling alley down near my house. Ah, Abby, is that you? Working all these odd jobs here and there?
I see. Well, thanks, Gramps. It's good to see you again.
You too, son. I hope you come back soon.
Don't worry, I will.
With a smile, you wave farewell and leave the shop. Outside, Justice stops you by the car. What was that about, Taker?
I'm not sure. There's something going on around here. I felt like I was being followed for some time now. What Graham said just now confirms it. I'll fill you in on the way home.
Justice nods and hops into the passenger seat. The one last lingering look at the door to the hobby shop, you two get into the car and fire up the engine. As you pull away to head home, you can't shake the feeling that someone somewhere is watching you.
Ah, that was sweet. Something's cooking.
Anyways, if you want to play this for yourselves, links will be provided down below for the download link. And if you want to watch some more visual novels, please subscribe to the channel. Anyways,
Thank you, and take care.